From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10, live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Amarachi Ubani.
Good evening and welcome. Tonight, as politicians embark on campaigns, INEC is warning against inciting statements and violence. All Progressives Congress presidential candidate Muhammadu Buhari, Lagos Governor Babatunde Fashola promise a better Nigeria. IDPs appeal to the authorities to hasten the fight against terror, say they're eager to return to their homes. And Pope Francis names 20 new cardinals. 15 of the new appointees are under the age of 80. Now, beginning from tomorrow, political parties will begin aggressive campaigns nationwide. The aspirants will be asking the 87 million voters for a mandate to lead. But as they do that, INEC is warning that they must abide by the Code of Conduct. The Independent National Electoral Commission is calling on politicians to obey the Code of Conduct on political campaigns. The Code of Conduct makes it imperative for aspirants not to make inciting statements, embark on violence, or make abusive statements against opponents. The Chief Press Secretary to the Commission, Mr. Kayode Idowu, told our correspondent, Omelogo Nadi, today that INEC is also making efforts to ensure that February election is conducted with high integrity.
Now we color code ballot papers. Unlike in the past when ballot papers can be moved across jurisdictions, across zones, across states, and it could be used to manipulate the system. That is not possible because even within the states, the colors of the ballot papers are different across local governments. That means you can't move a ballot paper from one local government to another local government and that ballot paper will be used. It will stand out as alien. Now, we code ballot boxes. The tendency of people using other people's voters' card. That is not going to work in 2015. That is why we have the permanent voter card. The permanent voter card will be read by card readers. That card readers will authenticate the holder of the card as having a live fingerprint that corresponds with the fingerprint on the biometric chip in the card. As at the time we concluded the polling unit level distribution, this 3-day thing that we do with short extensions, we distributed an average of 65% across the country. Now, since that time, collection has been ongoing. The Commission has made the provision for people to come to the local government office of the Commission to pick their cards. If people do that, all things being equal, about 80%, between 80 and 90% of those cards should be collected.
The number of internally displaced persons in Nigeria are increasing day after day. Now, what arrangements are the INEC making to ensure that these persons are able to vote come February?
INEC is working very assiduously to create opportunities for them to vote within the limitations imposed by the law. And that is why a task force was raised. And I'm sure the task force will be submitting its results this week, its report this week that we are speaking. And they will come up with suggestions of how you can go around or how we can maximize the constitutional right within the limitations of residency that the law also provides for, to be able to get them to vote. What I can assure you is that substantial majority of IDPs, especially those who are in camps, because that is also important to stress, especially those who are in camps, will be accommodated. INEC will look for ways to get them to vote. The politicians in 2013 signed up to a code of conduct. And the code of conduct stipulates how politicians should conduct themselves during campaigns and in other areas of the political process. No political party or its candidate shall make inciting statements through broadcasts, press statements, handbills, pamphlets, leaflets, and other publications. That is in the Code of Conduct. And then the Code of Conduct also says all parties shall file with the Commission details of their public rallies and meetings in any particular area prior to such meetings. These are some of the things that are expected of them as they conduct themselves, and the Commission hopes that they will be duly guided.
INEC's Chief Press Secretary, Mr. Kayode Idowu, and a violence-free election, that's the expectation of every Nigerian for February. And the politicians themselves have also promised to eschew violence and embark on issue-based campaigns. In our next report, our correspondent, Olu Phillips, previews election campaigns as they flag off officially tomorrow.
If INEC's timetable is anything to go by, then official flag off of campaigns across the country is November the 15th, 2014, which is 90 days before the election date.
All Progressives Congress.
And should end 48 hours before elections.
PDP!
However, political parties appear set to hit the ground running by flagging off massively tomorrow. According to the Electoral Act, political parties are expected to focus on issues, avoid divisive words, name-calling, and incisive statements.
We in INEC are committed to ensuring that the 2015 general elections are much, much better than the 2011 general elections. We've been doing everything possible to keep on improving on this process.
For the presidential elections, name of 11 candidates from 11 political parties have been submitted to INEC, while most of the governorship candidates also have been submitted. But the president, in a nationwide broadcast on the 1st of January, called on politicians to eschew violence, warning that the faulters will be decisively dealt with.
As we enter an election here, I'd like to say this once again to my fellow politicians and political leaders. None of our political ambitions is worth the blood of any of our countrymen, women, and children. After the 2011 general elections, some unpatriotic elements embarked on an orgy of violence, resulting in the destruction of lives and property. That will not be allowed to happen this time around. This government will act decisively against anyone who disrupt the public peace before, during, or after the 2015 general elections.
The political opposition parties have welcomed the position of the president, but called on INEC to ensure a free and fair exercise.
My choice and my colleagues' choice and wish is that we progress together. Preserving the nation's future is a sacred obligation to all of us in this great party.
For the 2015 elections, 87 million voters are expected to participate, and that's according to INEC's record. With the campaigns now on, this figure is what the political parties will be jostling for. Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.
Well, some internally displaced Nigerians from the northeast are asking authorities to fast-track the war against terror to enable them return home. Our correspondent Amaka Okafor, who visited them today in their camp near the capital city, reports that most of the IDPs are homesick.
In spite of their situation, living in makeshift houses and depending on goodwill to get on with their lives, these displaced persons find the time to unwind, dancing and swinging along with music from a radio set. Even the children are not left out of the fun. But under these happy faces are a feeling of nostalgia and a longing to return home and to their livelihood. These Nigerians hope that the year 2015 will mark an end to insurgency and the return of peace to the northeast region so they can return home.
harkan da ba shi ba wani ma ya koma sata wani ma ya koma yani Allah sani sai Allah mu da wajen gwamnati da gari zai zo na mi lafiya mu koma inda muke a da ka san yawanci mun gama secondary school nan akwai wanda ya gama university ma yana zama a cikin bacan nan akwai wanda yana teaching ma yanzu ma ba harkan teaching yanzu yana zama a cikin bacan nan ga yanda rayuwar mu yake mu da mu wajen gwamnati da zai iya taimaka mana boko haram wannan ya zo na ya koma yanda yake.
Shekaran da muka shiga dai ubangiji Allah dai muna roka Allah ya kawas mana da abubuwan da ya faru a shekarun da ya wuce. Mun shiga wannan shekaru kuma ubangiji Allah ne kuma ya tadan dama kowa da kowa mu koma kuma inda muka fito.
Others, however, want the government in the meantime to provide them with better accommodation and treatment pending when their villages and communities are safe to return to.
I want to tell to government, make him help us see our houses where people in they live. Na Tampolin house, Bacha. So even this Bacha, this land, now for people land, it's not for government. We are no sabi anywhere now, now only here. So they talk to government, make the government help us do their houses before my place come peace.
There is nothing that has beginning that will not have an end. But on the process of getting to that an end, our brothers and sisters are facing so many hurdles. Hurdles in such a way that this environment they are living here, I know we appreciate what the government or whoever has accommodated our brothers here. Our expectation is that I know, by the grace of God, this year, we are going to have a good government that will care for us.
It remains to be seen if their expectations will be met before the end of the year. Amaka Ukafo, Channels Television News.
In part two, after the break, clergymen react to Reverend Father Ejike Mbaka's controversial comments about Nigeria. Please join us again.